So we made a decision, what should we do? And we said, let's try this and see what happens. So then, when we made that decision, we felt proud about it, because not only we own a business, but now we're going to do something about it. So we contacted the state of Utah. Back then it was the Department of Community and Economic Development. I'm not sure what the title is now. We contacted the PTAC office, and, which Frank is here today from that office of the state. We worked with Frank and Kerry Wold worked there then, and he had helped the Ute tribe with their business over there with the 8A program. So he came and helped us get things going. In the meantime, I wrote a grant to rural development, and we acquired a $4,500 grant for marketing this new company. And then the Cedar Band Pikes, at the time, their only revenue coming in was $36,000 a month. That was their total budget. And they had got $36,000 a month from the leasing of billboard signs along the interstate down there. So that was their total general fund, $36,000 a month, a year, sorry. And so Cedar Band threw in $4,000 into this company, and we got a grant for $4,500 from rural development, and then we started marketing, so that's in technology. First thing we did was we made a trip back to Washington, D.C. in October of 2003. And I failed to mention that in April of 2003, we acquired our 8A certification. And having a business with no experience, no past experience, and no revenue, we submitted a waiver to SBA as a small band, and they issued us a waiver on our experience and on our revenue, and granted us and certified us as an 8A company in April 2003. October of 2003, we made our trip to Washington, D.C., and we met with some federal agencies and Air Force, and met with some big IT companies, and came back just totally rejected from our trip. In fact, we met with one big company in a hotel upstairs in a restaurant, and as we were meeting with that person fell asleep on us. And, we laugh at it now, but back then it was just humiliating. So this is October of 2003. In February 2004, we went to the RES conference in Las Vegas at the Flamingo, and we got on their procurement list, and we had a presentation in front of all of the IT conglomerates and all of the federal agencies and Department of Defense. Me and Terry went down there, and he was going to help me with the presentation, and he knew a lot more than I did about IT. And anyway, that day to do the presentation, he got sick. So he called me about 30 minutes before the presentation and says, "I can't make it, Travis, you got to do this on your own." Oh, geez. So I said, okay, and I think the most frightening thing for me to do is present and then have him ask me questions, because I didn't know anything about IT, let alone all the acronyms that are associated with information technology. So I said, okay, and that's probably how I said, okay, and then I went ahead, I did the PowerPoint presentation, I handed out the flyers, and I did all the speaking, and within 15 minutes, you know, I was sweating really bad, and usually I don't sweat, you know, but the presentation was bad, and those people, because they were all smarter than I was, and I was just saying, please don't ask me questions, please don't ask me questions, please don't ask me questions. Then I said, do you have any questions? And anyway, I got through it and gathered my stuff and walked out, and I was just shaking my head and my mind and my head and thinking that, oh man, walking down the hallway in the Flamingo Conference Center, and three ladies grabbed my arm from behind, and I turned around, and they introduced themselves, and they said, "We have a contract for you if you're interested." And I said, "Sure." And they said, "I want to give you an IDIQ contract." And I said, "Okay." And so we chatted for a while, and then they left, and we exchanged information, and then they left. And then I called Kerry back, and he said, "How did it go?" And so I told him about how badly I was sweating. And I said, "These ladies want to give us a contract." And he started yelling and screaming on the other end of the phone, "Good job, Travis, all right, good job." You know. It didn't hit me at the time what that really meant. And it turned out to be a $200 million IDIQ contract. So what I learned from that experience is no matter how scared you are, no matter how little you know, no matter what color you are, or no matter what the issue is that you have to face, do it anyway. Face your challenges, because you never know what will happen. If you're afraid to make that cold call, do it anyway. And that was February of 2003. We signed the contract in July of 2004. We signed the contract July of 2004. We started putting task orders against that contract in August of 2004. And then we hired our first 3 employees in September of 2004. 2 years after we filed our articles of incorporation. Then from then on, it was uphill as a company. Well, then we stole Terry Wold away from the state. We hired him to Cadet Singh. And we hired another CO person from California. And then we hired our BD salespeople from all over the country. We had 2 of them in DC at the time. So. But what we didn't have when we started this company was capital, startup capital. We couldn't pay some of our personnel what they were worth, and they're worth a lot. The BD people, their salaries range from $110,000 to $180,000 a year. The CO salary ranged from $90,000 to $150,000 a year. And Terry's, of course, BD, he was a little more less because he had a passion to help tribes. So these were the type of people you needed on your team. So how do you do that? Well, in today's age, there's nothing better than partnerships. And I think you have a section here about partnerships. But we partnered, and we partnered, and we partnered, and we partnered, and we still partner. So in the early stages of Cadet Singh Technologies, we brought in a partner. And he provided upfront capital to support these business development personnel, the chief operations personnel, and to get us going. He supported them, and in turn, we gave him equity into Cadet Singh Technologies, and that helped us a lot. So from then on, it was partnering. We partnered with the first year, we partnered with 7 of the 10 big conglomerates in IT, Northrop Grumman, SAIC, PEC, Nortel, and so on and so on. We started out with hardware and software sales. We did $16 million the first 4 months in business. A lot of our sales went to the war in Iraq, and we worked with Shaw Air Force Base, and we did work with